the back. Okay, get ready.
Oh, bye-bye. That's how you feel now.
Oh, see you, bye.
Sorry, I have a group of friends.
Okay, we are recording. You can listen to it later. See you.
Let me stay. I'm staying.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we have been doing these lessons on discipling for last, many months. But I think we are learning a lot, and many of us are growing in this area, and there's still a lot to learn because the past few months we have been talking about the basic principle, the foundation of what we mean by disciple, by being a disciple of Jesus, following Jesus. And then we talk about what it means to be a disciple, and we talk about different the keys to success and different principles to make sure the discipling can take care effectively. And remember last month, what did we talk about in terms of discipling? Anybody remember any points? We talked about different principles, how we can be, to see that discipling can be carried out effectively. Any principles you remember?
We talk about the key like success of building a discipling relationship, like openness,
Yes.
be open, we integrate the ability with the, with sister.
Yes. We talk about that, and we talk about what is, in the discipling relationship, what can happen during that time. We talk about some good example. What a good discipling relationship is. We talk about different things, and you can share victory, struggles, and pray together. And we took this praying together and to pray more. As a group, we got together and we split into smaller group. But that is only one time. We're supposed to do that all the time. All right. So there's a lot of things we talk about. In terms of having a good discipling time. And today we want to move forward to a different area of discipling. The past few months we talked about being a disciple. Today we want to talk about being a discipler for Jesus. How to be a good discipler. I think last week we were in Bangkok, and in my company, we run a few companies in Bangkok, and one of the way I make sure my company runs well is to make sure my staff are spiritual, so they can take care of the company. So we have time together, and then we invite Dan's mom and my mother-in-law. She also lead one Bible talk in Bangkok. We also start talking about discipling, and then. And one thing that she raised up, my mother-in-law, is it's so difficult to disciple people. They don't come, they don't show up. We talk to them, they get angry. All those kind of stuff. How to talk to them. There's a lot of problem. It's like you want to be a good disciple, easy. I just decide myself. But you want a good disciple, not easy because the other person don't cooperate with you. You cannot decide for yourself. But this one you say. Not your choice. But today we want to talk about how to be a good disciple. And indeed, it's just a good relationship builder. Okay, today we want to go through the book of 1 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians is a book that Apostle Paul wrote to the disciples, the Christian in Thessalonica. He's actually been there. If you read the book of Acts, he only been there for about 3 Sabbaths. 3 Sundays. 3 weeks only. And he had to run away to Berea. All right, and then because of persecution, but just only 3 weeks. He has such an incredible relationship with them. He wrote a letter, wrote back to the church there, and his ability to build relationship is incredible. And that's what we're going to learn. How Apostle Paul, in such a short period of time, how he built such a deep relationship with people. You know, and the first point is you start a smile and compliment club. And you know, Paul, let's read one scripture. Now, we're going to read through the book of First Thessalonians, okay? And then we'll just read some parts of it and see how Apostle Paul built relationship with them. And First Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 2 to 9. Someone read that.
Tại sao nó chỉ môi công ty ở muốn dương chung ở cái cuốn có trên chuyện đấy phi đồng nào nhận một nhiều ai ta ngay dương chung hẳn ha nút bao tay đồng nào nhận một nhiều còn nước trăm chia đổ ra thì ca là nhận một bữa đau sẽ bị chủng nửa nhưng thì ca ngừng họ là bữa đau sẽ rồi sau đó nhận một nhiều như thế không nhận một muôn có trên thì sự cứ chứ còn chẳng là nhiều một nhiều nơi chụp cú press có chụp press bồi đan nhiều to ở bóng ôn lại press trung rồi lại hơi dương nhung căng thẳng lúc mang lương tăng rồi thì hơi vứt từng năng ôn bằng chụp nhung mình bán sai một đòi rồi nghĩa đầu biết sự đấy cái còn nó đi cứ đòi phải chia xa nên cái này như một vận tải thái đòi sẽ để chỉ nửa đồ mút chỉ khăn hai chục hồ đối chỉ này nó nghĩa bằng đối chỉ này nó nghĩa đằng hơi biết đằng nào dương nhung đạiเป็นต้องพูดให้เรานี้ชื่ออย่างนั้นสำหรับมันช่วยเราในเรานี้ในเรานี้กับการตราบตามอยู่ที่นู่นถ้าเรื่องเราแจ้งตอนบ้านสตูมในบรรทุนเราจะได้อย่างนอกเราเป็นอย่างนี้บริสุทธิ์โครงการในกระทรวงแต่การตุกของบ้านจิตการข้อต้องแลกบ้านชิ้นนี้เราที่บ้านตลอดชีวิตดูเราเอาเนี่ยแต่ชื่อเงินสดมาเสียดูเงินสดมาไทยตอนเป็นบรรทุนในเป็นเอาแจ้งบางไซส์เช่นปีนี้เรานี้เป็นแม้แต่ในต้องสดมาเสียดูเงินสดมาไทยเป็นของเต้cứ là phốt đó lúc gian cần lại đại lý dây phía dưới chủ đưa của bọn em đầu tiên trong phút bền thành từ khổ ban chia mình chăm bạch ở dưới nhau mình đều phải biết bất kia thay prakti dưới nhau đại nét đầu tiên ban được tôi dưới chiaอย่างnày đẹp bái chân bị rụt bền một đại bền có bẩn ở ban group của bạn có bền rồi mình phải chun luôn là luôn được
So this is First Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 2 to 9. So, see, Paul wrote a letter to them, this Thessalonica, and even though they have things to work through, things to address, but he always thanked God for them. He's so positive. He did not think about negative, you know. And of course, there's negative things to deal with, but he's very, very positive. And someone said that, you know, if you want to help someone in one area that you want to address them, you need to say 10 positive things. Because we tend to remember, the only thing we remember is the negative, not the positive. So you have to really balance that out, you know, a lot. And this is one area that I personally find challenging myself. You know, sometimes I get with someone, I see so many negative things, and I just want to tell them what's wrong and what's wrong, you know, and then trying to correct them. But that is not very effective. That really make the person run away from me instead of wanting to take what I have to say. You know, and someone also give me the advice. Say, do you want to be effective, or you want to be right? I think about actually I want to be both. You know, it's not so easy. You know, it seems like the brother tell me you want to be effective and not right. I say that's not so correct. You know, I want to be both. But it's not so easy, you know. If we want to be effective, we need to really learn how to believe in people, to be positive. And you know, even though we have many negative things to say, but we need to think about a lot of positive things before we say the negative things. You know, and sometimes when we got together with some other people and there's some issue that people deal with us, we need to change and we always say, oh, I got disciple. we use the word disciple as equivalent to being corrected. You know, actually, getting disciple, what does that mean to you? You know, is it just correction? Last week I was in Bangkok and with Sophia, he brings his daughter there for an interview with so we play golf together. We talk about discipling too because he's in the man ministry and he said that he said that discipling for him is like when the church get together, it's just get together and point out each other's mistakes. He said he's not really excited about that. And I think we have a wrong understanding of what discipling is. Discipling is more than just correcting. It's having fun together. If you're having fun together, you get inspired. You be disciple. How to have fun, how to be motivating. Discipling should be not a negative thing. It is a positive thing. Okay, you need to feel positive about it. If you feel negative about discipling, that means our definition of discipling might be something is wrong there. Okay, so we need to have. It's not just being corrective. Of course, being corrective is just only part of it because we want to be like Jesus. Nobody is going to be there. And we always need to correct ourselves. But that is not the only thing. Okay, so we need to start. Isma and Compliment Club is one way to be effective, as a discipler. Next, you need to explain your motive. Let's read 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1 to 6. Only first part, verse 6.
Ta là cái muối thì cũng khi không muốn lo không người rất mong muốn ơi nghe đó nghe đâm hỏi khi bé gài dương trong chô mô anh em lo cùng hả mình bé chia ân cặp họ đi ai cái đó gài dương nhộn ba đồng tục đồng tới kia chia của mà đồng trong cái đi đối chỉ nghe đó nghe đâm cặp ở lúc dương nhộn như chết bà ha ở xa pren về dương nhộn nằm bên nằm sai thì nó lo bị pren một đó nghe đó nghe lại Yang ni sedai to chút chỉ sản kho, và sedai đại dương nhung tu miên, lúc mình men khát đi sedai có số, đôi khi sedai nhung pro, đôi khi sedai cho bao một thế,แต่ตามđại phép trung là vô thường hả, nên quốc gia phải tu tu mình đi, xong chỉ là ná, lúc dương xong mình ba hạt vải tam ba bảy một ngày, mình mới đâu chỉ nên trong quốc, còn trên mình thế, cứ quốc còn hạt tên để làm mình,แต่trung anh là bông lô chết còn nhiều nhiều. ก็ยืนเที่ยวมันได้ปราที่เป็นเจ้าโดยที่ในโลกนี้ต้องสักหรือปกติเราจะรวมเราซึ่งมีแปรตรงที่จะใส่เราเขาไอ้ตัวมายืนเที่ยวมีอำนาจอย่างนั้นชีวิตตกเรือในโลกนี้ตกโดยชีสเวทในการพึ่งก็เราคงแต่ยืนช่วงหนึ่งโลกมนุษย์ตัวโลกเอาตัวโลกประวัติเอายืนชมเราตัวในโลกนี้เรื่องในนาคืออะไร
Well, Paul explained his motive. Verse 3 says there's no impure motive here. He is very open. He's telling exactly what he wants to tell them. Sometimes we want to set up a Bible study for people. Non-Christian come to church and they listen to sermons. And you want to set up a Bible study, you say, oh, you want to get together for a cup of coffee? But you didn't explain to them, or to learn about the Bible, discuss the Bible. And then you go there and study Bible with them, and that guy is really discussing with you, arguing with you, So you didn't explain our motive. We just said, we need to be direct. Some people don't really know what that means. By studying the Bible with you, do they need to pay for a fee? Sometimes they're not really sure. What is that cost them? And we need to be direct. For non-Christian to non-Christian, even to Christian, discipling time. It's important that we don't have hidden motive. We need to be open to each other. Sometimes people tell me and challenge me about my sins, my sinful nature. And very hard. I just wonder why they want to do that. Talk for an hour or two, and have And later on, then they switch topic about talking. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure, but like maybe you want to minimize my influence on others or my authority or whatever. I don't really know. You know, I'm not exactly sure why did they do that. You know, we make us questioning. So if they say, even if the thing they say is true, it's not be very effective on us spiritually. No, we need to be direct. When we help someone, you know, there's something direct. We need to be, straight to the point. Okay. So you know, if my wife say something to talk to you and then start complimenting me a lot, and before I say I'm really afraid, you know, just go ahead, you know, whatever you want to say. You know, I mean, be nicer that way. Thank you for being just, you know, some people spend an hour and a half talk about different things, and then come to the point, you feel awkward, you're not going to respond well. You know, you're not going to help the person well. So if you want to help someone, you don't come to the back door, okay? And don't make them feel weird. You just direct, speak what's on your mind. Okay, of course, be polite. Okay, not be but be nice, you know, to each other. But be straightforward. I think we appreciate honesty and straightforwardness. Do you? So the person we disciple, I think they appreciate that. Sometimes even if it's difficult to hear, instead of going around it and they find out later, it's not going to achieve anything. So Paul, in the beginning of 1 Thessalonians, he said, my motives are pure. You know, he explained his motive directly to the people that he discipled. Right? Next, you know, he talked about how he treated them, loved them as a mother. In 1 Thessalonians, in chapter 2, verse 6 to 9, second part of verse 6 to 9.
Với muốn thơ tôi bảo xong dương bà dương trong mình hôm nay nên nơi chia bằng tốt đời đen một ní tốt đối chia về em đặt rừng có đau cũng tại dương trong mình rô mình đúng xuống một bạn và dương sừng lời tôi nghe một ní lên ra tiếp đây dương trong ba nơi mình là hẹn một ní ở số đối với việc đối chia mà đại non cổ đại tổng cung này bạn cứ dạng được hết đại dương trong ba loại hẹn một ní nó mà lên và chỉ những trong chỗ chân trái của nó có đẹp bóng nét rộng thì mà trong tay của nó có chỗ chân trái em chỉ có chương trình khổ và tu nét rộng thì bạn thở lọc chỉ thu như vào chương trình bật bỏ hồn ơi nét rộng như là trong tì ca nhạc ngủ hai người họ tại những trong mặt phương đó là trong họ nhẹ nào vui bởi sai những trường kỳ những trong mặt sai thì nó là đẹp bóng nét rộng như ở không phương ca nhạc dục của này.
Yeah, Paul, he said that in verse 7, he said he is gentle among them like a mother. You know, first, you know, he's gentle. And secondly, he said that he's delighted to share with them, you know, not only the gospel, but his lives as well. He is very open about his life, you know, share everything. And last, you know, he said that he worked hard day and night with them. Like mother, you know, day and night, you know, when we have a young baby, you know, the mother, you know, we only 2 mothers here, the mothers here, maybe a few more, but maybe a few, I didn't know. But, you know, the dad a little bit, but, you know, mostly it's mom, working day and night, feeding the babies and things like this. No, I mean, we not get paid, you know, for that. Very sacrificial, but you love it, you want it, because you're motivated by love. Okay, it's not that you get paid to do that, you know, and work the hardest, get the no pay at all. You know, that's what we do in a discipling relationship. You know, we love as a mother, and Jesus, he's very gentle. You know, there's many verses in the Bible you study about Jesus. He's very gentle. You know, because Jesus is the perfect representation of God Himself, and God is. I'm not sure God is a male or female. Maybe no. You know, maybe God is perfect in both. You know, feminine and masculine. And Jesus is has a perfect balance in both. You know, and that's the reason why little kids go to mom and not to dad. because mom is usually more gentle, and that's why little kids, run to Jesus, right? And the disciples, go Jesus, welcome them. The kingdoms belong to them. The kids, they can feel things very quickly, and they don't lie. They recognize who Jesus is. They recognize the love that Jesus has. And we want to imitate that. Even a couple of days ago, Cesar also texted me a message. He's concerned about my purity, so he texted me. He texted me, it's a good concern, because we're connected. He said, my text message, he said, I'm here for you, and thank you for trusting me to be your partner in this journey. Oh, this sounds good. Even though you're insane, you still feel good. And he's really, he's being gentle, he's being nice. I think we need people like this. We need to be a disciple like this. To love as a mother. All right. And next, we also need to love as a father. And what's that mean? Verse 10, chapter 2, verse 10 to 12.
អ្នករកគ្នាហើយព្រះផងជាស្មោះបន្ទាល់អំពីយើងខ្ញុំហើយយើងខ្ញុំបាននៅជាមួយនឹងអ្នករកគ្នាជាពួកអ្នកជឿបាត់យ៉ាងណាឲ្យបរិសុទ្ធសុចរិតហើយអត់ទាំងឡាយបន្ទោសបានដូចជាអ្នករកគ្នាបានដឹងហើយថាយើងខ្ញុំបានប្រព្រឹត្តអ្នករកគ្នានីមួយៗដូចជាឪពុកនិងកូនទាំងទូមាននិងមិនសាចិត្តផងហើយតែធ្វើបន្ទាល់ឲ្យអ្នករកគ្នាបានដើរយ៉ាងគួរនឹងព្រះតែទ្រង់ហៅអ្នករកគ្នាមកក្នុងនគរហើយក្នុងសេរីល្អរបស់ទ្រង់
You see, before Paul, can be able to help his children, his spiritual children, he said that he's righteous, he's holy, he's blameless. I don't think Paul is sinless, okay? He is still sinner like us, but he's trying his best, to have right personal righteousness. It's very hard to help people that you want to disciple, and you personally, have no example for them. You're not setting a good example, and your personal righteousness is just in a mess. Or you have been a Christian for many years and you struggle the exact same things for many years, never grow. That's not good. That's something I think before Paul said, I can help. People like a dad. I need to be blameless. I need to set an example as a dad. That's important. He knows, because in the discipling relationship, it's not what you say or we're taught that really help people, because they can really do it on their own. Study the Bible, go to seminary school. But those people become so religious. Sometimes people go to seminary school, they come out really weird, and you don't want to relate to them. But it's really more, the attitudes that we have in God is probably more easily caught than taught. Okay, we need to catch the example. We need to have example, to be there. At the same time, you need to understand being older as a Christian doesn't mean we are more mature as a Christian. Sometimes we are older Christian, it's good, persevere, amen. I respect all old Christians who stick around, but we need to keep on growing and changing. And 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 5 to 9, if you have free time, you read on your own. It says you need to make every effort to grow in your faith, godliness, faith, goodness, knowledge, self-control, perseverance, godliness, brotherly kindness, and love. He said if you possess these qualities in increasing measure, they will keep you from being ineffective and unproductive in the Lord. So we need to grow all the time as a Christian. You need to make, the Bible says you need to make even every effort to grow. Okay, not just some effort to grow. Okay? As a disciples, we need to fight the spiritual war that's around us. Satan's always attacking us. And that's what we need to set an example in, to grow spiritually. Great. Next is you need to feel what they feel. First Thessalonians chapter 1, chapter 2, verse 14, and chapter 3, verse 2 to 5. Okay, chapter 2, verse 14, verse 1 verse, and then jump to chapter 3, verse 2 to 5.
Mất bóng của đời đã đọc như bàn trap tam óc nhằm cụ chủ nông về và nước mông về kinh tử sử nơi sọc từ giá thì phước ban rung túc nơi này người chủ nhận sọc của bóng nhận của lòng nhị đôi chia đôi chia cụ chủ nông nhằm nút và rung túc nơi này hai là đây buộc sạch thì là sau mình muốn quay vào khi nào làm cần với những chặt khi một thế thì mong ôn thì chia nè còn bàn phép đại bàn cứ ca thì mong mình nhìn trong nông bằng năng on là cứ hầu quan bán tăngในออกมีลายคือหมอม่วนเอาครูของบาสมาสเตย์ห้องใช้ยานากับมันจะขับรุ่ยเราสเตย์ถึงบ้านอย่างนี้วัดแนวนี้เดินพัฒนาเยอะที่สเตย์ยังดีถึงดีที่รูปหน้าเป็นทรงในที่บริเวณในแบบที่ยังเล่าลุกต่อมาปรับที่หมดหายเยอะมันลุกตุกบ้านđôi khi nhà đồ mình cần sẵn sàng miếng học hơi và hát lúc cao thành tròn mình học tiếp mức nhân bàn sát cốt một ao bàn tân sự đây cũng nửa và bằng này ở kia cái này là uống ban luôn mong trận nhà đồ kia ao ai ca người hót và con con và người chỉ cần được phòng cờ mình.
Right? So Paul, he feel what they feel. You know, he know that they suffered. He knew they have been going through trials. You know, he knew they're being persecuted. You know, he said that I know what you're going through. I feel with you. I feel for you. You know, when people, in a discipling relationship, when people share about their feeling, you know, you need to be sympathetic and have a listening ears. You know, of course, we shouldn't be sentimental. Some people say feelings are no right and wrong. Do you agree with that? You know, feeling just feelings.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of people say that, but that is, you know, some become very popular saying, but actually feelings portrays our attitudes, you know, and our attitudes can be right or can be wrong, you know, and it can be a wrong feeling, but we still need to listen to them, okay? And people share about their wrong feeling, we need to be sympathetic, you know, we don't need to agree, but we can. The worst thing is that you don't feel that way, okay? They feel that way, you know, maybe they feel that way, it might be wrong. But we can listen to them, okay? And the thing is good that we can listen to what is inside them, their attitude, so that we can help them to overcome. So when people share with you, share their feelings to you, it's very, very good. You know, that means you can work with them, okay? And I think the best way to deal with people like this is that you did this, you did that, you know, man. Just think about your past. You probably do the same, you know, or even worse. Just share about how you have learned and what you have overcome. Okay, if someone share about they murder someone, maybe that's another story, okay? But a lot of things they share about, maybe we have gone through. This is one of the best things in discipling relationship is to share our own struggles and don't waste, any sins that we have committed. All the sins we committed is not good, but don't waste them. We can use them to help others. Okay? So, as a young Christian, remember, I was very energetic and very hardline. I was in America at the time as a student. I forced my disciple to kneel down and pray with me. And why you don't kneel down? I was really angry with him, not respecting the God. And oh man, I was just immature and just young. And then later on, the church found I did that. I have to go back and apologize to that brother. Seriously. And I remember him as a young Christian. We did that. I'm not sure he did that. I studied Bible with non-Christian, talking about the cross, and he's not broken. I challenge him every time because I'm so powerful. Love God so much. I said, people are not there, just not there. We just be patient, to get there. But I was like coming so strong, so spiritual, and it's like so ridiculous. We need to be not like this, okay? Feel for them, even though they are not there. Okay, we still feel for them. All right, be understanding, not become across as self-righteous. We're so spiritual, better than you. Something like this. So, amen. This is very important, okay? So when people sin and we share, if the more we can feel other people feel, the more effective we can be a good disciple. Next is you need to insist on righteousness. And this is in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 1 to 8.
Môi sao tiết bom ôn ơi dương bồng bó hơi tung viên đo nẹ bó nghĩa nông ra ông cha thì xuống hàng chỗ đa tam đại tu công bầy đã mời anh bán có bà hạt tây prem căn tại khang lành đôi chia bán từ tu bổng phong khi dương không quỳnh hồi vật nhẹ roát nghĩa qua dịch đây phải nhặt đầy dương nhông ban rồi cô mơ nhẹ roát nghĩa đào ngữ về ông cha thì xuống hồi vật prem đúng sọc hạt tâyเอาเนี่ยรอดเนี่ยบันเนี่ยจีบริสุทธิ์ดำไว้เอาบ้านเจี๊ยบปีเสร็จได้กำพัดเจ๋งเจ้าเอาเนี่ยรอดเนี่ยหนีมุ้ยเจ๊แต่ซาตะเกียบล้วนดาวสิบได้บริสุทธิ์เนื่องสิบได้ประสานมันแม่ดาวสิบได้หลุมช่วยขนมปังหาด้วยเชี่ยวชาญได้เหมือนสวอปแรกของเราผมเอาเนี่ยหน้าผมเปลี่ยนหรือเธอคล้องหนึ่งมองโอนนามุ้ยน้องการลงหอยสอบปีกูเดี๋ยวเอาจานตู้เงินซ่อมสักทำการแต่ลูกโดยจีเดียขนมปังรับดอกเนี่ยรอดมีเห่าโรงแรมตัวบนรอซอกลูกพองบัดเรียนเหมือนมันถ้าเยอะรอดมีมือขนมสิบได้ความปกติคือมือขนมสิบได้บริสุทธิ์อยู่โดยจีเนียเนี่ยรอดเนี่ยในเหมือนโปรเตอร์ตัวลูกมันเหมือนบอกน้องเจ้าเหมือนลูกชั่วโมงนะบอกน้องเจ้าแต่ปีแต่ตรงบ้านโปรตีนจะมีบริสุทธิ์อยู่ตรงหมดอยู่
Well, Paul dealt with some sexual sins here. He talked directly to them, asking them to avoid that. And we live in a time when this kind of thing, lust, is really so easy, to fall into. With the internet, the accessibility on the phone, and things like this. With all this addiction that we have, it's so easy. We need to warn each other, just like Paul, talking to them. Is there a taboo subject that you cannot talk to? We need to ask each other when we spend time, men and women together. How is your lust? How is your purity? And this is one major area that we need to talk about constantly. I think that in terms of righteousness is not just sexual purity, worldliness is also a big thing. Do you know the Bible? Talk about worldliness, money, more than about sins, sexual sins. And in the reality, some of the places I go to, when we share about sins, we always talk about lust and sexual sins, rarely, almost none people confess about being worldly. But the Bible talks more about worldliness than sexual sins. That means we are not really covering the thing that we need to cover. We are not talking about things that we need to talk about. Okay? You go to other people, talk about your finances, about your struggle, your desire to make money, how you make money. All these things are going to deal with your heart. Is there a taboo area you cannot talk? How are you going to make money? What career are you going to have? Is that taboo to you? In the Bible, Paul, there's no taboo area. All these things is not because we want to talk about your money, but we want to talk about your heart. Okay? We want to deal with the heart. There shouldn't have any off limits in our discipling relationship. Next, after you talk about sins, we need to love each other. Okay? Since it's a heavy topic, we need to continue to love. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 9 to 10.
Hai sao lấy cái nuôi chúng tôi muốn kho muốn lợn đòn vì ai đây giờ lành chỉ mong có lúc mình trang tay và nhóm sở xây một cái con biệt tỷ vì tôi muốn bé tôi một liên ao nhà con kia giờ lành kia được với mình mở hào để con kia có giờ lành đó để óc đèn của bông ôn nơi tôi mong sót ma xì đồn này cái bông ôn ơi biết nhóm sâu tôi miền ao nhà con kia nên sự đây giờ lành lúc can tài khoan làm chọn.
Yeah, Paul urged them to love more and more. The church in Corinth, the First Corinthians, you study, the church is, right now we study First Corinthians, right? And talk about all the problems in the church, many problems. The church, they have disunity, boasting about their spiritual ability, speaking in tongues better than the others, sexual immorality, they have lawsuits, they have a lot of problems. But Paul said, the real problem is what? Come up with the best explanation or definition of what love is. 1 Corinthians 13. It's because you have love for each other. That's why you have all this pride, this unity. And you need to love. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It's not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angry. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. In the most difficult situation of the church, he come up with the most beautiful explanation of what love is. That is the key. The most important thing is to love one another. And love will cover a multitude of sins. We need to study these qualities, and then really deeply apply them. And in our discipling relationship, how can we love each other, growing in this area about loving each other. And I think this is also very good. Is don't forget eternity. And 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, actually 2 verses I'm going to read. 4 verse 13 to 18 first, and then chapter 5 verse 1 to 11. But first read this one first, it's quite long.
ទេព្រោះព្រះអង្គម្ចាស់ទ្រង់នឹងយាងចុះពីស្ថានសួគ៌មកដោយស្រែកបង្គាប់មួយព្រះអង្គទ្រង់ទាំងមានគឺសំឡេងមហាទេវតានៅផ្នែករបស់ព្រះផងនោះពួកស្លាប់ក្នុងព្រះគ្រឹះនឹងរស់ឡើងវិញជាមុនមកអស់ព្រោះយើងរាល់គ្នាដែលកំពុងតែរស់នៅក៏នឹងបានលើកឡើងទៅក្នុងប្រកបជាមួយគ្នាទាំងអស់ដើម្បីឲ្យបានជួបជុំនឹងព្រះអង្គម្ចាស់នៅមានឱកាសយ៉ាងនោះយើងនឹងនៅជាមួយនឹងព្រះអង្គម្ចាស់ជាដរាបទៅដូច្នេះចូលកំសាន្តចិត្តគ្នាទៅវិញទៅមកដល់ដំណើរនេះចប់
Okay. So continuing on is chapter 5, verse 1 to 11.
ដោយសំពុក5ខ1ដល់11បងប្អូនអើយឯត្រង់ពេលវេលានោះមិនបាច់ឲ្យខ្ញុំសរសេរប្រាប់អ្នករាល់គ្នាទេបើអ្នករាល់គ្នានឹងច្បាស់ហើយថាថ្ងៃនៃព្រះអង្គចាំនឹងបន្តដូចជាចោលមកនៅពេលយប់បាត់កាលណាខ្ញុំកំពុងតែនិយាយថាមានសេចក្តីសុខសាន្តមានសេចក្តីរៀបរយហើយនោះលោកតែមានសេចក្តីហិនវិញ្ញាណមកលើគេភ្លាមដូចជាស្ត្រីមានពណ៌អញ្ជើញនឹងសម្រាប់ហើយពេកមិនរួចឡើយតែបងប្អូនអើយអ្នករាល់គ្នាមិនមែននៅក្នុងសេចក្តីរំលឹកឲ្យថ្ងៃនោះបានមកដល់អ្នករាល់គ្នាដូចជាចាំទេអ្នករាល់គ្នាសុទ្ធតែជាពួកនៃរលឺហើយជាពួកនៃថ្ងៃយើងមិនមែនជាពួកនៃយុគឬនៃសេចក្តីរំលឹកឡើយដូច្នេះត្រូវឲ្យយើងចាំទៀងហើយដឹងខ្លួនមិនត្រូវឲ្យដេកលក់ដូចជាមនុស្សឯទៀតទេបើពួកអ្នកដែលដេកលក់ព្រោះគេតែងខ្លួននៅពេលយប់ហើយពួកអ្នកដែលស្រវឹងស្រាក៏តែងស្រវឹងនៅពេលយប់ដែរតែយើងតែជាពួកនៃថ្ងៃយើងត្រូវដឹងខ្លួនទាំងប្រដាប់ងាយដោយសេចក្តីជំនឿនិងសេចក្តីស្រឡាញ់ទុកជាប្រដាប់បានម្ដងទ្រង់ហើយសេចក្តីសង្ឃឹមរបស់ផងសេចក្តីសង្គ្រោះទុកជាមុខសឹកបាត់ព្រះព្រំមិនបានតម្រូវយើងទុកសម្រាប់សេចក្តីក្រោយទេគឺសម្រាប់ឲ្យបានសេចក្តីសង្គ្រោះវិញដោយសារព្រះយេស៊ូវគ្រីស្ទជាព្រះអង្គម្ចាស់នៃយើងដែលទ្រង់សង្គ្រោះជំនួសយើងដើម្បីឲ្យយើងរាល់គ្នាបានរស់នៅជាមួយនឹងទ្រង់ទោះបើចាំយាមឬដីលក់ដីដូច្នេះចូលកំសាន្តហើយស្អាតចិត្តគ្នាទៅវិញទៅមកដូចជាអ្នករាល់គ្នាកំពុងតែធ្វើហើយនោះដែរ
Don't forget eternity. Do you know in the book of First Thessalonians, almost at the end of every chapter, Paul talks about the second coming of Christ. You know, in chapter 1, verse 10, he said that when his son comes from heaven. Chapter 2, verse 19, last verse said when he comes, when Jesus comes. Chapter 3, almost the last verse 2. You know, verse 13, he said when our Lord Jesus comes. And chapter 4, we just read chapter 5. Almost every, you know, it means almost every single chapter. You know, when Paul talked to the Thessalonians, he always remind them about Jesus coming. Is that our mind? Is that how we think about our life? Is that what we do when we talk to people? You know, do we think about Jesus coming? Actually, it's everywhere. It's the one of the most important things in Christianity. You know, without this motivation, a lot of things that we do will be meaningless. You know, this is the ultimate, the motivation we need to have. Everything that we do, we are waiting for Jesus to come back. Now, Paul has gone through a lot. You know, but what really helps him is that he focused on eternity. And one of the very good scripture talk about eternity, how we can fix our eyes on Jesus is in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16 to 18. Let's read that too.
រាប់អានតែរបស់ដែលមើលមិនឃើញវិញមិត្តរបស់ដែលមើលឃើញនោះស្ថិតស្ថេរមិនយូរប៉ុន្មានទេតែឲ្យរបស់ដែលមើលឃើញវិញមើលមិនឃើញនោះនៅស្ថិតស្ថេរអកលចំណេះវិញ
See, Paul, he gone through a lot of troubles. Just before that, he said that, his heart pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. He always carried around in our body the death of Jesus. He gone through a lot. But what really helps him, he consider all this as light and, light. All this trouble is very little because he's focusing on eternity. Sometimes in life, there are things that we can there's no way we can deal with. It's just like, how can we change the situation? You can't. Even though you try your best, you just can't change anything. And then you're not going to get the way you want it to be, And sometimes we just cannot do anything. We just need to surrender and fix our eyes on eternity. To get a perspective on life. What is this going to mean? Not in the next year or next 10 years. What is it going to be next 1,000 years? Or a million years or billion years. That is what we are focusing on. I remember a few months ago when Scott Green passed away, they have this, just only a month and a half ago or two, they have this funeral service. They're talking to Scott Green, I think, who is it? Douglas Arthur, talking to Scott. Before, a few months before he passed away, he's at peace, he's ready. Because he fixes his eyes on Jesus. He knows where he's going. When people do not know where they're going, they're so busy in this world. They're so afraid to die. Even as Christians, we do that. Because we're not spiritual. I remember one time when John Oaks was here, when I first moved to Cambodia, he came to teach us about the book of Hebrew. I'm not sure you remember, about 2.5 years ago. And he talked about, we are just passing through this earth to go to heaven. And in this world we are in, it's like we are living on crossing a bridge. Will you build something permanent on the bridge? No, we're going to build something permanent on the end. That's why we need to store our treasure not on earth but in heaven. That is a really good attitude to have. What are you storing right now on earth? Are you storing your treasure on earth or in heaven? The Bible did teach us about us on earth storing treasure in heaven. What does that mean? Do I open a bank account in heaven? I don't know what that means. But the Bible teaches that we can store our treasure in heaven while we are on earth. You better do it right now. I have very little time left. I'm 50-something years old. I'm not sure how much time left. I better store as much as I can when I have time. You have a little more time than I do. So I hope you don't waste your time. Okay? So it's good. Okay? It's good to store up treasure in heaven because that's where our real treasure is. Fix our eyes on eternity. Don't forget eternity. This is something I think we really need to grow in. The thing that and lastly is to constantly deal with the heart. In chapter 5, verse 12 to 28.
ពីអ្នកដែលសោយមានអត់អោចំពោះមនុស្សទាំងអស់ចូលប្រយ័ត្នកុំឲ្យអ្នកណាធ្វើអំពើអាក្រក់ស្នងនឹងអំពើអាក្រក់ឡើយចូលទៅតាមការល្អជាដរាបដល់គ្នាទៅវិញទៅមកហើយដល់មនុស្សអ្នកខំទាំងឡាយដែរចូលអសប្បាយជានិច្ចចូលអធិដ្ឋានអ្នកឈប់ឈរចូលអរព្រះគុណក្នុងគ្រប់ការទាំងអស់ពីព្រោះព្រះទ្រង់សពណាស់ទេឲ្យអ្នករាល់គ្នាធ្វើយ៉ាងដូច្នោះដោយនៅព្រះគ្រីស្ទយេស៊ូវកុំឲ្យទន្លត់ព្រះវិញ្ញាណកុំឲ្យមើលងាយការអធិប្បាយឡើយចូលលើមើលគ្រប់ទាំងអស់ក្នុងកម្មស្វាប់តាមសេចក្តីដែលត្រឹមត្រូវចូលជិះចេញពីសេចក្តីអាក្រក់គ្រប់យ៉ាងសូមឲ្យព្រះនៃសេចក្តីសុខសាន្តញ៉ៃអ្នករាល់គ្នាចេញជាបរិសុទ្ធសពគ្រប់ហើយឲ្យទាំងព្រលឹងនិងវិញ្ញាណហើយទុកតែទាំងមូលបានបំរុងទុកឥតសាច់មកដល់ព្រះយេស៊ូវគ្រីស្ទជាព្រះអម្ចាស់នៃយើងទ្រង់យាងមក
To the end.
ណាព្រះដែលបានហៅអ្នករាល់គ្នាទ្រង់ស្មោះត្រង់ទ្រង់នឹងធ្វើសម្រេចការនោះបងប្អូនអើយសូមអធិដ្ឋានឲ្យយើងខ្ញុំហងសូមជម្រាបសួរដល់ពួកបងប្អូនទាំងអស់ដោយថាបរិសុទ្ធដែរខ្ញុំតាមបងអ្នករាល់គ្នាដោយព្រះអង្គម្ចាស់ថាសូមអានមើលសម្បត្តិនេះឲ្យពួកបងប្អូនបរិសុទ្ធគ្រប់គ្នាស្ដាប់ផងសូមឲ្យអ្នករាល់គ្នាបានប្រកបដោយព្រះគុណរបស់ព្រះយេស៊ូវគ្រីស្ទជាព្រះអង្គម្ចាស់នៃយើងរាល់គ្នា
Yeah, you know, last part
trong hỏi
at the end of the letter, Paul deal a lot with the heart. You know, rejoice, giving thanks, encourage the weak, help the weak. You know, I mean, a lot to do with the heart. You know, constantly a lot of different scriptures about different kind of attitudes and the heart. We need to constantly dealing with the heart. You know, in discipling relationship, we need to deal with the heart, not just the behavior. You know, in parenting, last year we were doing a book. I hope we can continue soon. You know, and we haven't finished yet. About the book, Sharpening a Child's Heart. You know, talk about, it's so easy to a little kid because you have authority over a kid. Sometimes discipling, we thought we have authority over a disciple. Tell them exactly what to do. Cover up the problem. You know, make him obey quickly. It's a quick fix. You know, the kids can really learn how to obey parents, but in the heart, they're very rebellious. So when they turn an age in a teenage year, they suddenly become a different person because the real person came out. You know, they all suppressed inside. They did not change. You just change it. Only the behavior, not the heart. You're not going to fix the problem. You know, it's an easy fix. You know, but we are training our kids when we do that. You know, the book on Sharpening a Child's Heart by Trap Pitt. You know, what is his name? I cannot remember his name. But anyway, say it very well. You know, when we disciple our kids like this, we are actually training them to be a Pharisees. Only looking good on the outside, but looks inside nothing changed. You know, we are training a perfect Pharisees as a little kid trying to grow up. You know, that's why a lot of kingdom kids when they grow up, they talk nicely, they answer you respectfully, but in their heart, they are not changing because they are not in dialogue. It's very difficult to deal with this kind of people, because they've been trained decades actually, to be like this, and to change them right away is not so easy. So, as an adult in the discipling relationship, don't fall into that trap. Okay, we need to deal with the heart. We need to talk about the heart. You know, this book, Paul, talks about in the Thessalonians is talk about the heart. You know, what is in your heart? What is real? Let's deal with it. This chapter, this book has a lot of principles about building great relationships. You know, not only just discipling. It's all kind of relationship. You know, in relation with children, with the parents, with the non-Christian, and discipling. Now that's where we learn from Paul. Now discipling is not about telling someone, shaking them up. No, it's about building an awesome relationship. You know, how we can inspire each other, motivate and guide us, you know, in a pursuit, you know, with God. Let's learn from Paul, you know, and in very short period of time, only 3 weeks, he has such a deep relationship with them. You know, we can learn from him. This lesson, you know, First Thessalonians, maybe you can go at 5 times to learn this same principle, so we can build a great relationship with each other. Amen. Great, that's it for today. So what you guys want to do? You want to split a small group, or you want to respond a little bit here? Uh-huh. Yeah. Can we do that? We can split into smaller groups, and then we can respond a little bit in a smaller group setting. Is that good? Okay, what we learned. Okay, awesome. That's it for today.